Okay, I think we're recording. I hope this works.
Hello.
So we are coming to you with a different trio. It is the Bilo trio. You have Teresa, Black Licorice, and Madi.
Hi.
Hello.
We are in Maryland, and we are been a week. We've been here, not
About.
quite a week, and it was very nice. The several days we were here until yesterday, it rained in the morning and then snowed in the afternoon.
Yes.
And totally chilly. Today's very chilly. So we kind of went from like high 70s, almost 80 to down to 40s maybe.
Yep, with snow.
Yeah, but the sun is shining, but it's been a busy week. So we came so that we could help Madi find a house.
Yes.
And because you've been here since March 3rd.
Yep.
From Hawaii.
Yep.
So just kind of give an update because you were a guest on our podcast probably
A year?
a year ago. Because didn't you do it in February when you came for my birthday?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. And we're into March. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Huh.
That was a moment when you got excited.
Yeah.
Yes, that was funny.
Could have won
Good memory.
funniest home videos.
Yeah.
Your reaction, Tim, was complete opposite of mine. Very calm.
Yeah.
He was all worried about getting the light turned off out back that the girls had turned on. The outside light of the house. He saw it
we
when
left
he
it
came
on all
home.
day?
The granddaughters had turned it. They like
Oh,
to flip switches more so back then than
Yeah.
now. But yeah, so just instead of a 9 or 10 hour flight to Hawaii, it was
An 8-hour
an
drive.
8-hour drive with stops and such, I would feel.
Yeah.
Some stops longer than others.
Yeah. We left a week ago Friday at like 7:30ish would be from our house and got here at like 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was all good. So you're staying in a hotel
Yes.
until you can get a place
Yes.
with
Which
2
we'll
cats and
see.
a dog.
Yeah, in one little hotel room. But yeah, Maryland is way different than I thought it would be because I haven't been to Baltimore area, only to DC. And so I was like, oh, I like DC, so I don't mind getting stationed there. And it was the closest thing. So for people who aren't familiar with the military, or at least the Air Force, the other branches do things differently. But for assignments, you go in cycles. So since I was stationed overseas, I had a date that I had to leave the overseas location and come back CONUS to the States. So when coming back, you're in a cycle and then you get a listing that drops on a certain day and you have about a week and a half to put in your preferences. And then the Air Force matches you up with however best suited you are for the job based on your job, your skill level of your AFSC, your Air Force specialty code. It's your job. So your skill level, your rank, your like clearance, things like that all go into effect on a computer. It's all computer based. It's not even like you don't apply or anything like that or do an interview. So you get matched up with your preference and then you go to the assignment. So I put down Maryland because it was the closest on the listing to back home. So I put that as, I still put Ohio number 1, even though there was nothing on the listing. And so then I put Maryland number 2. And I got picked up. I was the best match for the job. So I got picked up for it in November. And then I moved here, yeah, like you said.
But this is
March.
after you already made a listing that you wanted a preference.
Yes, that's something different. That is a base of preference program for first-term airmen because I haven't re-enlisted yet. So that one did not go through because I put Ohio down, but my rank and everything did not match. They're overmanned over there, so they didn't need me. So yeah, I got Maryland and is the closest to Ohio, but it's not, like I said earlier, not what I thought it was going to be. At least Baltimore is not. There's a lot of people. I mean, I knew it was going to be a city. Their roads are worse than Hawaii, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Because Hawaii roads are
Pretty bad. But yeah, these roads are not. And it's mostly like when you're going towards Baltimore or like when you're getting closer to the city, it seems like the roads get worse. Do you guys feel like that
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
For sure.
So there's definitely a lot of potholes. And so, yeah, we've just been exploring this past week. So we went up to Baltimore to the city and we went and saw the 7-foot lighthouse.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a lighthouse that used to be out into the harbor more, and then they moved it into the city, and so you can look at it from the inner harbor of Baltimore, and it's very, very short.
It's cute.
It is.
It's little.
It's just a little red sphere almost.
Yeah.
Not sphere, but I don't know what you call cylinder.
Yeah, cylinder.
Yeah.
So say what happened Sunday when we tried to go to church.
Oh, so we tried to go to church. We tried to go to church at the Army base nearby because I was like, oh yeah, Army chapels are good. I went to one in Korea and I loved it there. So I was like, let's go. So we get in the car and we're already kind of like 10 minutes late. And so then when we're on our way there, it routes us to NSA. And I was like, well, I don't think this is right. We shouldn't be going to NSA.
Because we wanted Fort Meade.
We wanted Fort Meade, yeah. And I was like, we shouldn't be going to NSA. And the sign said NSA, and it said authorized personnel only. Every military base says that, and there's NSA on military bases. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's just the military base and we have to go through the NSA. So we get up there, and the guy's like, where are you guys trying to go? First thing he says.
Yeah.
So he knows that we're not supposed to be there. And then
he was nice and all.
He was, yeah.
He said he knew we weren't supposed to be there by the way we were dressed.
That's what we inferred.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I said, well, I'm trying to get to the Calvary Chapel. And he was like, okay, so you guys are at NSA right now. You're not supposed to be here. So he said, you can't drive through. So he said, just wait here. So we waited there for a second. He gave us our IDs back. And then he was like, go down around these area, go down and the other guard will assist you guys. And we were like, okay. So we thought, oh, he's just going to open the gate and let us go. No, he made us park, took my ID, my driver's license, and then he had to look up he knew my registration and everything.
He kindly told us that we were illegal to be there.
Yeah, we were trespassing.
Yeah, trespassing, and
we needed to get out of there.
Yeah.
Well, not come back. He said, it was a mistake. He's like, that's okay. It happens all the time, but don't come back here. And we were like, okay.
We were the third or fourth of the day, they said, which I'm not sure if they were just being nice or...
I don't know. Well, maybe new because people PCS in and out, so I'm sure that happens a lot to new people.
Well, then another guy in full Army gear is what he looked like. No?
He was not Army.
No, the guy that came up by your dad.
Yeah, no.
Wow. And he came around your dad's side of the car, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're never going to get out of here.
And then Dad started asking questions about their security.
Well, I was curious.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah. No, it was funny. It was something, it's a good thing to laugh at now, but I was really nervous. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? But no, we got out of there. We went to Fort Meade. We missed the church, but it's okay. I'll go another day. But yeah, we went to the commissary, BX. Well, no, just the commissary. And then we saw where the chapel was, and then we turned around and left. And then we went to the DC, and we took the metro, and we didn't put enough funds on Dad's metro card. So then we
could have left him there.
So he got stuck. I had to come back through the gate to get his card loaded back. But it was good. And we went to Arlington Cemetery.
Yes, and that was an experience. I obviously had not been there before. If I did, it was in 8th grade, so many years ago, or maybe 6th grade, doesn't matter. But very sobering. I did not realize there was John F. Kennedy, like a special spot for JFK and the wife Onassis, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
And then two infants
children
that they lost. are there. And what'd you call it, Tim? The everlasting flame?
Eternal flame.
Eternal flame.
It was lit by her on John F. Kennedy's grave. And it's a natural gas fire, a gas-fired flame that just continually burns, does not go out. It's always being fed.
And they have their own designated area and signs up that say, be respectful and quiet. I mean, those are the words. And then we went over to
the Tomb of the Unknown.
Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which very sobering. Nobody talked. Like, you could hear a pin drop. When they did so we're there a while and everybody's still sitting on the steps and just watching the guard go back and forth in his routine. And it actually was warm that day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we still here? And I'm trying to get your guys' attention.
Because we were there for like 4 or 5 minutes.
We waited 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And nobody else is leaving, and just very strange. And then I find out we're waiting because the changing of the guards is happening. And again, they had a sign, be quiet and respectful. And I heard a child like up in the back behind us, just like once, but very, very quiet. Everybody was respectful. Opposite of our experience at Pearl Harbor, because they tell you to be respectful and quiet, and people were not. When Aunt Tara and Grandma and Grandpa had been in Hawaii in the 90s, they said it was very quiet and sobering, but in 2023, it was not. But that was very good. A lot of walking.
Beautiful cemetery.
I thought there was a sign that said 469 acres. But
that sounds right, because it
could be
huge.
I might be wrong.
Giant.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was very good. What else did we do? Yesterday, several days of looking at houses.
Yes. Yeah.
One thing about changing of the guard in the background was the Pentagon. And you had to look for it, but it was in the background. And it's another unique building. You just don't see those anywhere.
And our plan tomorrow is to go to the National Mall. So that should be fun.
Raise your hand if you think the National Mall is like a whole bunch of retail stores. It is not.
No, it's not.
It's all of so there's a line of Parkway, and it kind of does start at the Arlington Cemetery. I don't know officially, don't quote me, but from the map, it looks like it starts at Arlington Cemetery. You can walk across the bridge over the whatever river is that, the Potomac? Whatever river is there.
Sure.
And then you walk across, and then you hit the Lincoln Memorial, and then it just starts from there, and you have the Martin Luther King Memorial, you have all of the Smithsonian museums are right there. You have the Capitol building, the White House. Is the Senate in the Capitol building? I don't know. You have the Senate's its own building, right?
It's I'm not sure. The White House is.
I know we've seen it on those, but we're drawing a blank right now.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow. Yeah. But it is a long stretch, so we'll bring our walking shoes for sure. We might only be able to do half of it because it's such a long walkway. But that'll be cool just to see those buildings, and the architecture alone is cool.
And today we went into Annapolis.
Yes, that was fun.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to, I saw on TikTok a couple days ago that there was a donut shop, an Amish donut shop, and I was like, oh, it's an hour away. I don't know if we could go there. And then I was like, today we were like, what should we do? And I was like, well, we could go to that Amish donut shop. And then I was trying to look for it on the maps, and I couldn't find it, and I wasn't in my recent search, because that was like a few days ago now. So I was like, well, I can't find this. I don't know what we're going to do. So then I went back to TikTok, my source of news.
Not endorsed by her parents, that's for sure.
Ditto.
And it's a good research tool. And I looked up things to do in Maryland. Fredericksburg. It kept popping up, and I was like, well, it looks like this area we could go to, but I didn't hear a yes, so I kept looking. And so then I kept seeing Annapolis, and I was like, oh, this would be fun. And then somebody had posted like a day in Annapolis itinerary, and she started at this Pennsylvania Dutch market. Was that what it was called?
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, this is like right near it, and they have Amish donuts, so let's start there. So we went down there thinking, okay, it's just going to be like donuts and baked goods, and that's it. And so then we walk in there. It's this huge market. They have a full deli, a full like snack bar that specializes in pretzels.
I've never seen so much deli meat in my life.
Yeah, it was just a big, long counter full of it. They had cheeses, they had crackers, and then in the middle was all the baked goods, and it was a lot of baked goods on this little, not a little shelf, because it wasn't little, but it was a lot of baked goods. And they had their you could buy a loaf of just sweet bread or like a coffee cake type of situation. And they had them cut in half and wrapped, and they cut the little container for it too. So funny, but it's smart because sometimes you're not going to eat a whole loaf. We ended up buying 2 halves because couldn't decide which one we wanted. So they had pies, and they had half pies.
So smart.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't eat a whole pie. And then they had a smoothie bar, frappe bar.
Yeah.
They had fresh produce bar. Then they had
the
chocolates.
We had lot of chocolate, like its own fudge shop, right? And each of these places could have had their own little shop.
So we were picking up. Dad, do you want to tell the story?
We found out after we went to about the 3rd different vendor that it was a pay and go thing where you went to the vendor, purchased their product, and moved on. Now we started loading our arms up and walking through this whole place, and we're carrying a bunch of unpaid for goods. And we had to go back and pay penance.
And
ask for forgiveness.
We should have known it was market.
It did work out all right, though. Yeah. Nobody tried to put us in cuffs or in jail.
I mean,
we paid for everything that we left with.
And then the donut, totally could have been its own shop.
Yeah.
Lots of donuts. Oh, so good.
Yep.
Better than Hirschberger's, I will say, at least in my eyes.
Oh. They didn't have very many Long Johns. They didn't have any Long Johns.
I don't think they had any Long Johns.
No, yeah. I think they had an eclair. There was something that was like similar to a Long John, but skinnier, so I assumed it was an eclair. But
yeah, and then they had like a meat counter, like a butcher type shop.
And they had a spice store in the back. And then in the way back behind the spice store, did you see the chicken cutlery place?
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd call it. But yeah, very interesting. I will definitely be going back. And then that little shopping center, we went to Barnes & Noble, Hallmark store. What other store did we stop in?
I think that was
pretty much it. Yeah. We spent a lot of time in Barnes & Noble. Yeah.
Back up where we were, that was the Potomac River, you ask?
It was?
Across the Potomac River. The White House is separate from the halls of Congress.
That's what it is. Yes, Congress. Yes.
Which we've heard that in biblical citizenship.
Yes.
We should never have forgotten that.
But
Don't quiz us.
I had to go back and look to confirm that.
Oh, you saved someone from putting it in the comments.
Then we went downtown to all the little shops. And what was that circle?
Yes, this afternoon. It was in Annapolis. So Annapolis is the capital. And we went to like the main, I don't even know what it was called, that circle. It's the something house.
But it was by St. John's University or St.
St. John
College.
Yep. And at the entrance to the Annapolis Academy.
The Naval Academy.
Naval Academy.
Yes, the Naval Academy is back in there. But they had the cutest townhomes.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to live there, but I think it's pretty pricey back there. But they have cute. Not everything. Most things are brick. The sidewalk was brick and which you have to be careful because it's uneven, so you might trip. But very, very pretty.
Yes, it
Very
was beautiful. It was crowded for a chilly day, but
and
the
for
sun
Friday,
is out.
yeah.
So in the summertime,
I bet it's packed. Yeah. Especially
in the
when people
summer,
are
for sure,
visiting.
it's
Yeah.
gotta be filled up.
and we've had great food. You've looked things up, and we've
Yeah.
tried different places, and
The first place we tried was a cheesesteak place. I was like, oh, let's go here. Not thinking anything of it. It had good reviews. It was like 4.6 stars or something like that, which is very high for a food shop. And so we pulled up and we walked to the thing and we see people lined up outside and we're like, oh, the line's going to be long. Do we want to wait? And we're like, well, let's just walk up. So we walk up and then those people aren't even waiting in line. We get inside. There's this like corkscrew line happening. And we're like, where does it start?
everybody coming
Right in the
in.
middle.
Where's the line?
Yes.
And it was very interesting. It would be hard to describe
Yes.
of how it was, but they made use of the tiny area they had.
You started in the middle of the room, you just kept making a left turn, and it went out like a pinwheel.
Yeah.
Until you made it to the outside of the wall
Yep.
and down to the register, and they took your order.
Yep.
And I said, this place must be good when we walked in the door, and the guy at the door says, it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that long of a
No, it
wait.
wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
And they really pushed people through. And you
Mhm.
just followed the person in front of you.
Yep.
It's like everyone knew and
Yep.
you didn't get lost. It worked.
Now, what was your take on the food?
Oh, very good.
It was so good. It
Very
was worth
good.
the wait.
It was
worth the wait.
fantastic.
And you
Yeah.
could see the guys in the back. The kitchen was packed.
Oh, yeah.
It was a tiny little kitchen, and there's like 4 guys on this double grill.
That big grill was the size of a twin bed, and it was full of
Yeah.
thin cut. I'm trying to think what the steak was they used. It was a prime steak.
Mm-hmm.
It was very good.
Yes. It was very good.
And we've just tried like local places,
Yeah.
except for there's a Cracker Barrel kind of up the hill from the hotel, and we just keep commenting on it. So we went there yesterday for, I'd say, a brunch type
Yes, it was a late
situation.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
It was good.
I haven't had Cracker Barrel since I was like in middle school. And then, of course, we walked around the shops. Shout out to Aunt Trina and Aunt Tara. Cracker Barrel is their place.
Because they both used to work there.
Yeah.
And Aunt Trina loves it, the food.
It is good. I mean, the pancakes were good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We were just about ready to leave that shopping area downtown Annapolis, and we walked by, what was that place? Something pepper.
Oh,
Spice.
I think it's hot pepper or
Hot pepper.
pepper.
Something it was called, but they had
yeah.
all kinds of rubs and sauces and barbecue, wing sauces,
I've never seen so
hot
many
stuff,
sauces.
Yeah.
mild stuff, medium stuff,
A coffee dry rub.
coffee
Yes,
dry
very
rub. We're gonna try
interesting.
that. We
And you
grabbed,
could sample anything in there.
Yeah.
we grabbed a lot of different things to take home and try.
Mm-hmm.
That was
And
pretty
Mom was
interesting.
very brave. She tried something called nasal napalm. It's a horseradish. And the guy gave her one sliver of, what even is that? Sauerkraut?
No.
What's in horseradish?
It's a root.
Oh. Wasn't there only one little sliver on that spoon
It
that he
was a-
gave you?
It was a tiny little speck.
Because it
Yeah,
was so hot.
yeah.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, it hit you fast, but then it disappeared fast.
Yeah.
I didn't want to not try it. I mean,
No, yeah. She said you only live once, and
yeah, that's what you kids always tell me. So I was doing it. No regrets. I mean, my nose didn't even run, but whew, my tongue was burning.
I did not try anything.
But yeah. So Maddie, just recap your military journey. Like October 2nd, 2018, you
I
left
went to
Dropped the bomb
BMT.
on us
Oh, my.
December the 25th.
of
Oh,
2017,
yes.
yeah.
And Kaylee said, what did Kaylee say? This is the worst day of my life?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, she's so funny.
And then Kyle looks at the hat. He's like, "What's this for?"
Yes. And I was like, joining the Air Force.
Madeline joined the Air Force without any of us knowing it.
I
That's not
told you
true.
guys.
That's not true.
I knew you.
She told us.
Yeah.
Because I went
No.
with her to the recruiter's
Yeah.
office.
You went with me to the recruiter too.
Yeah.
At least one of the times. Yeah. I didn't join without telling you. But I went to BMT in October 2018 and then I graduated the end of November. And then December, I went to my tech school. I was there until March.
Was that Biloxi?
Yes, Mississippi, yep. So I was there until March of 2019. Then I went to Korea for a year and then went to Mildenhall for 2 years. That's in England.
And when you left Korea, it was March of 2020. And
I left right before we had a stop movement of forces. Yep. And because that was when COVID first broke out.
Yes.
And so then at the airport in England, I just landed and I turned my phone back on. And then I have all these missed calls from my leadership in Korea. I call my NCOIC and I was like, which is my boss. I call and I'm like, hello? Like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in England? And they're like, okay, well, you just missed what happened, but that's okay. Because I'd already out processing everything. The stop movement got issued at like 6 a.m. and I was already on the bus to the airport at that point. So nobody was at work for another 2 hours. So
that's incredible.
I was on my flight by then. Yeah. So then.
So you're in England for 2 years, Linden.
Yep. Mildenhall. And then went back to Korea for another year, but a different base. And then I got Hawaii, and then I was there for 3 years. And now I'm here in Maryland. And Hawaii is a great vacation spot, but it is not fun to live there, in my opinion. And I always thought it was so crazy. Everybody who had been stationed there was like, you're going to get island fever. You're gonna get tired of it after the first year. I'm like, no, I won't. How could you get tired of the beach? And then I got tired of it because there's just so many people in that tiny island. But yeah.
Yeah, when I was working in Tiffin, when our office was in Tiffin, and the postman that would come by, we'd talk once in a while, and he was in the Army and obviously had gotten out. And when I said, you're going to Hawaii, he's like, I was there 6 months. She's not going to like it. And I'm like, oh, she will. Well, he was right.
Yeah. And they have a great culture, and the aloha spirit is amazing. Like, I do miss that, but it's just, there's just so many tourists there. There's so many military. It's like half the island is military, it feels like. And there's just so many people. There's a whole bunch of businesses there, of course, because tourists. And yeah, it's just, there's so many people. It's so congested. The other islands, I went to Maui and the Big Island of Hawaii, and those were fun. Those are more like countryside and more chill. And so I loved those places. But again, I was only there for like a weekend. I wasn't there for living there. So I don't know if I would even like that. I miss Chipotle. I got Chipotle my first day here in Maryland.
Because Hawaii doesn't have it?
Yep, they don't have it. They have something close. If you ever go to Hawaii and you want Chipotle, go to a place called Paniolo's. But it's not the same, so.
But Hawaii's got a donut shop that you can't get around here.
Oh, yeah, you
that
took
donut
us there. Yes.
Leonard's.
Leonard's.
Yes. Those are Portuguese malasadas, are what they're called.
Well, they're good.
Yeah. Those are Portuguese donuts. Those are good.
Yes, we were fortunate to be able to visit you twice in Hawaii.
Yes.
That during your stay there, we don't really care to go back, but
no, we've seen it now. Like she said, the traffic and the roads and the tourists, and there ought to be a law that whenever a car goes to Hawaii to be sold to someone, another one has to leave the island. They're way too many vehicles there.
Well, half of them are probably rental cars, too.
Yeah.
Not half of
Yeah.
them, maybe a third. But
what I was going to say is you, in your travels, have really seen a lot of neat things.
I have, yeah. I've been very fortunate and blessed to be able to travel. And if anyone is debating joining the military, as long as I think it's great. The military has been great to me. I know some people do not fit the mold because it is like you can't put, what's the saying? You can't put a square peg in a round hole.
Right.
With the military, it's very much like that. So as long as you can take orders and not be offended by somebody like basically telling you what to do and you're okay with that, it's very easy in my opinion. And then you can travel the world on the government's money. So
well, let me just say this first, because when we were stopped by the NSA and your dad was asking questions and the guy goes, I don't know, they just tell us today what we're going to do and we just listen. And Tim, tried to ask it in a different way and he repeated the same thing.
yes.
It's just what they tell us to do today. I mean, they don't even give their opinion.
Nope.
No, you can't.
They just say, this is what we're told to do today.
Yeah, especially in military, you cannot.
Yeah. So what are some other places you visited while you were stationed, like in England or South Korea? Because I know you've taken some trips yourself.
Mm-hmm. When I was in Korea the first time, my friend from high school came out and visited me and we went to Tokyo and that was fun. We were both like broke, so we didn't get to do a whole lot, but we did go around and explore and that was fun. And just the places in Korea are fun. I've gotten to go to Jeju, which is their island. They call it like the Hawaii of Korea. And so that is very fun. I think South Korea, I went there twice. I loved their culture, their food. Everyone is nice there. At least to me, they were nice. But I'm fair-skinned, so they are, and they're pretty nice. Everyone pretty much speaks English, so there's no language barrier, in my opinion.
And you said you felt safe.
Yes, I felt very safe there in Korea. Because everyone kind of keeps to themselves there. They're not in your business, or there'll be old people who stare at you, but then you just ignore them. They're not going to do anything to you. So they're just curious. So yeah, Korea, went to Jeju. When I was in England, I went to, of course, Scotland and Wales, because you could just drive to those places. And then I've been to Germany. I've been to Portugal. I've been to the Philippines. And I think I went to the Philippines. No, did I do all those trips in one? I don't really remember when I went to these places, but the Philippines was really cool because they have a lot of outdoor stuff to do. So I got to go swimming with tiger sharks. Not tiger sharks, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. Whale sharks. Tiger sharks, I would not do that. Whale sharks, because they're those big spotted whales and they're very safe to swim with. And the Filipinos, they'll take their boats out there and they feed them, so that it's because they do this every morning. So you go there at like 5 a.m. to swim with them and they feed them. And so these whale sharks know where to get their food from. So they just come out there and they're eating and you're just swimming there and you can't touch them, but you're just swimming there with them. So that's cool. And then I went canyoneering there. That was very fun. The water is very blue. And the Philippines was interesting because I never knew anything about the Philippines and I didn't realize, unfortunately, they're a poor country. I didn't realize that. But so I stayed on like a Airbnb compound and that was safer. And then when I was in Portugal, I don't remember much about Portugal except for I think I really only did like the beach. And they have these good pastries there that are like little, I don't even know how to describe it because I can't really remember. All I remember is like it was like a little mini pie, but it was like cream cheese center or something like that. I don't think it was quite a creme brulee, but it was something like that. But they're famous for them in Portugal. I just remember it being very good. And then Germany was interesting. A lot of people in the military, when they want to go to Europe, they'll try to get Germany because it's like a epicenter of Europe. You can just travel anywhere from there. So a lot of people want to get stationed in Germany. I didn't really like Germany because they're very blunt people, and I can't appreciate that. So, which, I mean, to each their
Nicely
own.
said.
Yeah, to each their own. I can't appreciate blunt people. But their food was pretty good. Well, their food was not, I was vegetarian at the time, and they don't have a lot of vegetarian stuff because their food revolves around meat, which is okay. And so whatever I got, it ended up having mushrooms in it because their food also revolves around mushrooms, and I do not like mushrooms. So a lot of the stuff was mushroom based. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't so I think, I don't know, Germany was okay, but they do have some good markets. Oh, Italy, I loved Italy. They have good food. Pizza and pasta every day. And one of the waiters said, pizza, pasta, pizza, pasta. And I was like, yeah. And their food is so fresh there. They use a different type of flour and everything like that. Their food and drug, like how we have the Food and Drug Administration, their food is regulated way different than ours, especially in England as well. Because a lot of the snacks and stuff we have in the States is not in Europe because of the preservatives and the dyes and additives in it. So when I moved to Hawaii, I gained a bunch of weight, like 50 pounds, and I didn't realize it. I thought my pants, this is so funny. I thought that my pants were shrinking into washer, but here, no, I just gained a bunch of weight because you cannot eat the same in other countries. I was in Korea eating whatever I wanted, in Europe eating whatever I wanted, because their food is processed different. So my body was actually digesting it, whereas in the States, we use a lot of different things, and so your body processes it different, and you can't eat as much as you thought you could. And in other countries, I also was walking everywhere because they're walkable cities. Their transit is way different than ours, so it was coming to Hawaii. You don't really walk anywhere unless you're in Waikiki, and I wasn't in Waikiki much, so yeah, I was driving everywhere, and I was very sedentary, and I wasn't used to that, so.
I remember you saying the food even tasted different in England.
Yes, their McDonald's tastes different. Their McDonald's is better. They, like, even the French fries, I think they use a different oil. That's why. But it's fresher. It just tastes different. Yeah. Yeah. If Five Guys tasted different over there, because they do have those types of things. They have a Chipotle. That tasted pretty much the same. But, yeah.
So Tim, being the father of not only a daughter, but a daughter in the military, how have you processed that over these 7 years, 8 years?
It's almost 8 years. October will be 8
years. Yeah.
A lot of prayer. Probably going to get emotional. I couldn't be there to watch her. She needed protection. And it's just been a lot of prayer. And to see the things, and she shared photos with me of places that she's been. And I remember one vivid time I was at a Walmart of all places at the checkout, and I received a photo, and it was from Madi. It was a text message, and I just stopped what I was doing at the cash register there and looked at the photo or the text, and it was a picture of her at Stonehenge. And I thought, that's so cool. And the lady, I said, I'll be darned. And the lady says, that was checking me out at the register said.
Checking you out.
That happens a lot, Teresa. Anyway. She said,
somebody did compliment him on his striking blue eyes today.
Yeah, they did.
The lady said, I'll be darn good or bad. And I said, good. And I turned the phone around and showed it to her. And she says, who is that? I said, that's my daughter. I said, she's there right now. And but I've always been worried about Madeline and the things that she does, because she'll just take her little tent and her little chair and her little backpack and walk off into the sunset or the sunrise and camp in the middle of nowhere. She was doing that in England. And I just had to give it to God, because there was no way that I could go and save her. And I'm grateful that she hasn't been in any situations where there's been conflict or where the military has had to come together. Like right now, we're in a war with Iran, and anybody over in that Middle Eastern area is up front and center with it. But it has been good to her. She has enjoyed it. I can tell that. She doesn't act like she wants out. And
you've had to help her through some mechanical
situations. Some things with FaceTime with her vehicles. And I think we changed the taillight bulb. It took like 45 minutes over FaceTime when you were in England.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I did have to do that.
It was about a 45-minute conversation. I kept saying, Maddie, you got to pull that thing harder. I know there's nothing holding it. And you kept saying, but it won't. The taillight housing won't pull out. And I said, you got to really yank on it.
Yeah, and then that van broke down on me. Yeah. I've had the worst luck with cars. Well, thankfully, my car now is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. So.
Yeah, she had her car shipped here from Hawaii, and.
Oh, my. And I had something happen with that. Because when I picked up my car from the processing center, the man who gave it to me, he was like, we had to jump your car, but just let it run for like 30 minutes and you'll be okay. I was like, okay. So I didn't think anything of it. I drove to work. It took about 30 minutes to get to work. And so then I turned my car off and go into work. Then me and my coworker were coming down to lunch. This is my first day of work, by the way. We're coming down to go to lunch, and my car would not start. And then the lights were going crazy, and I was like, oh my. And so when you're processing your vehicle for shipping, you have to clean it because it has to go through an agricultural inspection. And so I cleaned it myself because I didn't want to pay someone $300 or $400 to do it. And so when I cleaned it myself, you have to clean the whole engine bay and everything. And so I thought I broke a cord or a wire or something. I was like, oh no. And so then my other coworkers, they came down to start my car or to jump start it. So we got it jump started. I went to an AutoZone. The guy plugged up the whatever that sensor thingy is, and just diagnostic sensor, is that what it's called? And it said the battery was dead. So I had to buy a new battery my first day of work and my second day in Maryland. And I was like, what in the world? But now it runs great, and the battery's going to be good for 5 years, according to AutoZone.
So one thing that will kind of end with this, but it'll take a few minutes to go through. I was going to ask you some questions and just say, you could say pass if you didn't want to answer it, but maybe it'll be better if you just kind of give your testimony. Not everybody listening knows your journey in Hawaii and why we always say Hawaii was not good to you, but and we're an encouraging podcast. So what's been encouraging to me is, you think as a parent, you would, show your kids or, encourage them along the way, but you've encouraged me, so many others in your faith journey and the things in life that you've gone through and how you just continue to look to God for your source, for, your guidance. And so maybe if you can just kind of talk along those lines. I know you've commented to me before that when you were in South Korea, you were all by yourself. Mm-hmm. Your first time in South Korea, and that you had a good church there to go to. I think it was on base.
Not the first time I was
Not
in
the
Korea,
first time?
the second time.
Okay.
That's when I really had a good, church that I was going to. And because that was at an Army base, and their chapel is great. The Air Force chapels that I've been to are okay, but the Army ones, I don't know if it's because their job is tougher than ours, but they have good chaplains and they have good chapels. So when I was in Camp Humphreys, I was going to a chapel there. And when I was in Korea the first time and when I was in Meldon Hall, I went to chapel like a few times, but I was not consistent at all. And then when I was in Camp Humphreys, I was like, oh, well, let me volunteer because that'll force me to go. Because I wanted to go to church. It was just waking up and actually going is a different story, especially if you hadn't been for 3 years at that point. So I was like, okay, let me go volunteer. That'll force me to go. So I volunteered at the welcome like in the welcome desk. And then I would sit there and then I would attend service afterwards. And so I think I did every other week I did volunteer. And then, yeah. So there I met a friend and she was also doing the same thing. And we both were volunteering the same Sunday. We both just got there. And she was Army, and so we became friends, and then she got me connected into some, like there was a young adults group that she got me connected with, and then there was a women's group that she got me connected with. And so then those kind of like, because it's one thing to attend church, but then once you get plugged in, that's when it really, I think, makes a difference. And so when you're plugged into a community, like I don't know, I think it grows your faith more. It did for me, at least. So, because then I had people,
community. So
yeah, because then I had people like I will never forget this. This one guy, he was like, "Where have you guys seen Jesus this week?" And he was also in the young adults group. Like he was not. I want to say he wasn't a leader because he was like a leader as a person, but he wasn't the leader of the group. He was like, "Oh, let's say like where we saw Jesus this week," and I was like, I can't think of anything. I know he's there. But, and he was like, this is where I'm like, oh, I can't. Well, I guess this way I could appreciate a blunt person. But he was like, if you can't point out where Jesus is, there's something wrong. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I started going into my weeks like, where did I see Jesus this week? And then if you ask those questions, because if you're not asking the questions, you're not thinking about it. So then when you're asking those questions, it makes you look for those things. So then I was like, oh, okay. And so then in the women's group, there was the leader of that group. She really pushed me into like actually reading the Bible every day. And so then like quiet time and how important that is. And so then that really, I feel like, built my foundation when I was in Camp Humphreys. And so then I PCS to Hawaii and I was married so I got there and this was the first time living with Trevor and I was looking for a church. I went to the church on base and I didn't like it. But then there was a church like 5 minutes down the road and it was in a theater. And I was like, I attended once and I was like, oh, I really like this church. So I just kept going back. And then they had a comment card that you fill out. So I filled out the comment card my first Sunday. And then they emailed me that week and asked if I wanted to get on a serve team. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because that really helped me to stay consistent going to church is getting on a serve team. So then I joined the nursery team there because I was like, I don't really feel led to a certain area because in Camp Humphreys I was at the Welcome Center and I liked that, but I didn't really feel any type of way this church. And so then she was like, well, we really need help in the nursery. Are you comfortable with that? I was like, oh, sure. So I joined the nursery team. And so then I was going to that church consistently. And so then
we went with you there. That was a good service.
Yeah, that is a good church. Mm-hmm. And that church is like, I don't want to call them like a chain, but they are kind of a chain. But it's like an independent church of a different church. So it's called Manna. And there's different Manna locations in the States. And they are usually next to Army bases. And so
because the last time when we were there in November of 24, would it be November of 24? Yeah. And we went to a service with you and they were handing out T-shirts.
Yes.
I'm a blessing, which is a joke that I say to anyone and everyone. I'm a blessing. And then it said Manna Church on it. Well, I wore that T-shirt home And at the airport was a lady who had one on, and she commented to me, and
Right.
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
forgotten about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that church is really good. So if you're near Amana Church, you should go away at least once, I think. But anyways, so then about it would have been like a year and a half into me being in Hawaii, had some marriage problems, and then
That you did not see coming.
yes,
Nobody
yeah.
saw coming.
Yeah, I did not see it coming. It really blindsided me. But and looking back, it was like I wasn't happy anyways, and there were a lot of things that I think I let slide because that was like my first real deep relationship because that was the first guy I dated since like high school, and so it was like my first real adult relationship, and I think I just let a lot of things slide in. Not that he was a bad guy, but it was not how I should have been treated, I think is a good way to word it, in the beginning stages at least. So then about November, everything happened, tried to make it work in December of that would have been of 24. And then oh yeah, because you guys visited me in November.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes. So December 24 kind of decided like, okay, this isn't working. So then I think January of 25 is when we filed for divorce. And so then I moved out of the condo in March of 25. And so then I was living on my own again with the 3 pets. And yeah, so that took me by surprise, and like I kind of spiraled into like a depressive state, and it was really hard, but I'm thankful that I was going to a church, like, and I was actually on a serve team that forced me to go to church.
Yep.
And that I had my family that could come out and visit me. Like, you guys came out in November. Amanda and Lauren came out in, did they also come out in November?
Yeah, I wanna say they came
Just
the
a few
beginning
weeks
of
later.
November, like,
And then you
right
guys
after you
came
got the
after.
news.
Yeah.
And then we came at Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm so thankful that they were able to come out too, because that really helped me. Because in Hawaii, I didn't have any really close friends. And in November, I got moved positions for work. So a lot of things were happening at once because I moved to a different unit, a different job, and that was all happening. So, like, my friends from my old unit, I couldn't see them every day. But we went to lunches and things like once a month, so I still stayed connected with them. But yeah, I think if I hadn't been through going to Camp Humphreys and like getting those foundations on my faith, I don't think I could have not made it through, but I don't think it would have, I think it would have been way more difficult because it was very, very difficult. But it also was like, oh, I know that I'm gonna be okay. It's not the end of the world. Like, I just have to get through it. And I think that was also very hard, was like, I have to get through it. I can't go around it or over it or under it. You just gotta go through. And so, yeah. But I'm very thankful that I had you guys. And I think it also, like, I don't know. I don't know if it brought us close. I feel like I do definitely talk to Kaylee more than anything now after that.
I would say
Because
that,
she was
yeah.
really there for me. And so I think that got us closer as well. And I think I already like, because I went home a lot in 2024 for weddings and things. And so that like really, I appreciated you guys more, I think, in 2024. But then after all of that, I think I again appreciated you even more. And then I went home a lot in 2025 as well. Well, not a lot, just February and then.
Well, we did see so February, you came home in August for your birthday.
Yes, February and August was when I was.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the last time I was home. I was trying to remember the last time I was home. Yeah. So February and August were the last times I was home. And yeah. And so then.
Well, 2024 had weddings as well.
Yes.
Amanda,
Yeah.
Mackenzie.
So I went
Then you
home.
had Amanda's bachelorette party.
Yeah. I went home twice in 24 and then twice again in 25. But I also saw you guys, like, we saw each other at least 6 months apart. Yeah.
Yep.
Which was great. And so then that just like solidified I wanted to come back to the States. And so, yeah. Was there any follow-up? Did I miss anything?
No, I think it's not easy. You don't want to be single,
No,
but
no, especially going through all this moving stuff, it's awful. Well, I'm glad that my dad is here because he knows what a HVAC and a water heater is, and he knows how to tell if it's old or not, because I do not. And I'm like, "Why does this" I'm like, "Dad, why does this wall look like it has a crack in it?" He's like, "It's okay. It's just the settling of the house. Don't worry." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, because it's different going from having a guy that can at least you can trust them to do those types of things, and then now you're on your own, so but it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I think this happened because, I don't know, maybe this is my Job story. That man has been through it. So, yeah.
So how do you continually, because humanly, as I like to say, it's I would think it would be easy to just shuck it all and say, this is too hard. Like,
Mhm.
what keeps you going to continually trust God? Because with this house, like you saw several of them before you even got here, and
Mhm.
they would be in contract. And so you couldn't go look at them. Even this week,
Mhm.
there were at least two of them you really liked. And then they
They
went
went
under
under contract.
contract
Yep.
before we could see them. How
Yeah.
do you keep going?
I think it's just like I said earlier, it's not the end of the world. And I know that God has a plan for me, and I know that it's going to be better than what I have planned for myself. And so I think I just have to remind myself of that, like, hey, this is not going your way for a reason. And I'm constantly asking God, like, to, even if it's a closed door, because that's what I think one of my weak points is I don't know what is a sign from God, and so I ask him, like, slap me in the face, open the door, close the door so that my will can't prosper over yours, you know? So I and also ask follow up in my prayers with, and let me find joy in that because I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but wanting, like, it's hard when you don't know the
Interesting.
outcome. It's hard when you don't know the outcome and you don't know what's gonna happen because I know that it's gonna be better, but it's just
It's a
I
mystery.
wanna control everything. Yeah. So it's hard to give up the control, and so I always am asking, like, help me to find joy in it. And I think through this house hunting, that's like what's kept me going is I'm like, okay, I wasn't meant to live there. That's okay. And even now I'm having some problems with the condo in Hawaii and trying to get a place here. And so it's like, because I still own the place in Hawaii. So it's like, whatever happens, it's going to happen for a reason. And that's how it's supposed to be. And I just have to keep moving, but keep staying in prayer and looking for God and everything. And so, but also I'm like, I don't know how people get through stuff without that type of mentality, you know? Like, I just don't understand how you could go through some of these life events and not have anything to fall back on, because I'm like, at least at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I have hope and I have faith. And so some people, I don't understand how some people go through life without that. So I'm very thankful for that.
And you do read your Bible, obviously.
Yes, I try to at least. But I've been doing pretty good this year. My bingo card, I already checked off. I read my Bible 30 days straight. I think I made like 40 days and then I took a day off. But yeah, I've been trying to stay consistent. And the Old Testament, though, it's there for a reason, but sometimes it's rough.
Yeah, but God shows up on all those pages and even
It
Jesus
all
and
points to
Yeah.
Jesus, and that's how you got to read the Old Testament. You got to look for where it points to Jesus,
Yeah.
and you'll see it.
God's character. I mean,
Yep,
that just
God's
changes your
character's in it
whole
too. It's
outlook when you read it,
yep.
not just as a narrative. Because I used to think, oh my goodness, we don't live in the Old Testament anymore. You know, Christ died. Let's live in the New Testament. Was I ever wrong? And yeah, living I mean, I shouldn't say enjoying it,
Both.
but Yeah, it's just been a whole different well, this has been good. Yeah, we are at the end of our hour, and we do a thankful. I forgot to remind you guys. You both listen, you know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Tim/Black Licorice, do you want to give your thankful?
Yeah, I'm thankful that I have 4 children that are healthy and looking toward God for the most part, for their answers, and a loving wife, and I am blessed. I am truly, truly blessed.
I am thankful that I have parents that can come and visit me, and they can drive 8 hours to see me because it means a lot to me. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and ditto to all of that. I'm thankful that my job that I get a paycheck from, that I'm able to be remote for that, and people are filling in at home for the things I would do there. Thank you, Olivia, for taking care of the chickens with your mom, and I miss the granddaughters and now the grandson, Weston, because he was born. That should be our huge thankful
Yeah,
right before we
Yep.
came. He was born that Thursday.
the 5th.
Yes, and we left Friday the 6th.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Got a little grandson now.
yeah,
Mhm.
and Mac was a trooper,
Yep.
and Blaze too. I mean, it was yeah, that was really great, so that's a big thankful there too.
Mhm.
All right, I'll pray us out. God, we just thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for your blessings that you give us, even those blessings that we don't even acknowledge, but you're just loving us, continually chasing us. And we pray a special blessing on our listeners. Pray that they are blessed throughout this week and that you will just show them you, that they can see you, and that you will continue to help Madi with this house situation, and that she will continue to trust you as well as the rest of us continue to trust you. We love and praise you. Amen.
Amen.